This week's MAC Media Days also provided Mid-American Conference Commissioner John Steinbrecher an opportunity to provide a state of the league. And as Mark Coons reports, the commissioner, entering his 12th season in the MAC, took aim at the NCAA while updating the league COVID protocols.
A year ago, if a MAC football team couldn't field enough guys to play because of COVID-19 protocols, the game just didn't exist, something Bowling Green learned the hard way when their game against Miami of Ohio was canceled. This year, it's a different story. If you can't play, the game is a forfeit.
It should be noted that we are not through with COVID-19, and I cannot overemphasize enough the importance of our coaches, student athletes, and in fact all of us being vaccinated. The Delta variant is exceptionally virulent, and those not vaccinated are at greatest risk.
Well, I thought the commissioner was clear-cut in all his messages regarding COVID, regarding the transfer portal, image and likeness. But I do think the more responsible that we can be to each other, the better. And I just know this, our players, our coaches, our fans, we never want to go through what we did last year. Hopefully we all attack this the way that we're supposed to attack it and avoid not having a season like we did last year.
I think our guys have done a good job. I think it's our responsibility to continue to educate them on, what's real and what's out there, and maybe what's not. I think, this generation lives such, in a different world, so to speak. It's everything is based off what your handheld device tells you, and you and I both know that's not always true. So, we've done a good job of being safe. We didn't have any games canceled last year. We didn't get hit with a bunch of positive tests. I think our guys handled that in a very mature manner. I expect them to continue to do that, through this year, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. I think there's still a social responsibility that each young man has to do their part, and that's what I'm counting on them doing.
The recent unanimous Supreme Court decision allowing college student athletes to make money off of their names, images, and likeness rights grabbed everyone's attention, including the head of the MAC.
The bigger message I took away from the decision and from the concurring decision was the need for the membership of the NCAA to get its act together. For upwards of 2 decades, we have spoken of the need to modernize our rules. I look back at what were considered significant rule changes, allowing full scholarship athletes to hold jobs, cost of attendance, a unified transfer rule. In each case, you would have thought the entire enterprise of intercollegiate athletics was about to collapse based on feedback from many of the practitioners. Quite frankly, that's nonsense. If we as an association of member institutions cannot figure out how to become nimbler, to change and adapt without going through such extreme contortions, then the NCAA is at risk. And that risk is that someone else will make those decisions for the enterprise of intercollegiate athletics. Frankly, our current NCAA governance system is not efficient. Our system of developing, evaluating, and ultimately implementing regulations does not always provide for optimal outcomes.
Steinbrecher pointed out Toledo women's basketball coach Tricia Cullop and her work with the Women's Basketball Coaches Association to develop new recruiting rules for their sport as another example of how the NCAA is not listening to the parties they are supposed to serve.
The proposed rule changes were innovative, thoughtful, and changed the way recruiting would take place in women's basketball to make it more sensible for both student athletes and the coaches. The knee-jerk reaction of many was to discount the proposals and to complain about competitive issues, which, quite frankly, were non-existent. We must figure out a way to modernize our rules and put a premium on creativity and innovation.
At Ford Field, Mark Kuntz, BCSN.